Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how to turn this into this. So we're obviously talking about reloading and the many aspects of it. This will not be an all-inclusive video, disclaimer, and this is for informational purposes only because I'm not in your garage, I'm not in your reloading room helping you do this, so I can't guarantee your safety. So this is really important that you stay safe. And so we're going to get into this and show you all the things that I use. Not all the steps right now, those are in future videos to come. But we're going to show you all the tools that I use, and we're going to get started right now. Okay, so you've decided to reload ammo, and we'll talk about brass accumulation and all that stuff later, but we're starting with our brass and some of the tools that we're going to need to get started in reloading. One of the first things you're going to look at is the press. Presses are cheap to very expensive. This is a Frankfurt Arsenal M press. It's a single stage. It only does one thing at a time. I like it. It's very consistent. They have another one. It's a single stage, a lot cheaper coming out that I'm probably going to pick up as well. And so that's a really important piece. You're going to need dies. These dies do a multitude of functions. The one that's in here resizes the brass so it fits back into your chamber, and it's at a consistent dimension, and we need that because pressures and gases build up when you fire your ammo. Other things we're going to need to put a primer back in it, so you're going to need a priming tool. And we're going to go over all this in great detail later. You need bullets. I prefer, for right now, 168 grain EOD match from Hornady. You're going to need gunpowder. Good luck. It's still kind of sparse right now. You're going to need measuring devices. These are this one's a manual caliper, and then I've got digital calipers with a different tool on here. I'll cover that later. You're going to need primers. This is like the holy grail. If you're a reloader right now, these are the gold medal from Federal. Don't be jealous. I got them for $5.99. Just saying. You're going to need a way to trim your brass. You're going to need a way to weigh your powder. Manual, and then I've got a digital scale back here. You're going to need different ways of doing that. You're going to need to chamfer and deburr your brass. That's one way to do it there. I've got another tool for that. Why should you get into reloading? I can't answer that question for you, but for me, and this was, I think I started reloading in 2006, 17 years in, I am by no means like the expert or an expert. Like, I'm not the authority on this, but at the time, I could reload 308 with like boat to hollow points, and I was still using Hornady quite a bit, for about 25 cents to 30 cents a round. Match ammo at the time was 75 cents to $1. Fast forward to today. I'm not reloading for anywhere near that amount. If you take into account brass, I got 500 pieces of brass from Starline for 52 cents a piece, and I think these will last 30 to 50 firings. They last forever, and so cost on that is very minimal. We're talking pennies every time you shoot it. Then you got to figure out how much powder you got in there. If you've got, say, 45 grains of powder, I think that's 125, I'm not doing the math in my head, but 125 rounds divided by how much your powder costs. Powder for a pound right now is between $40 and $50. It used to be 24, 22, 23, and I used to be upset about that. Primers are getting expensive, so all these are cost factors into why you should or shouldn't reload. Some primers, I lucked out and got these super cheap. Most primers, I won't say some primers, most primers are $7.99 to $9.99 per 100. So we've got 40 cents for a bullet, 50 cents for a case divided by how many times you think you're going to be able to fire it. I think it was 18 to 20 cents per powder. It just keeps adding up. And so right now, reloading what I've got at today's prices for all of this per round, I'm reloading precision rounds for about 75 cents a round. And that's a big jump from 17 years ago, but inflation and government. Yeah. So all the scares, all the things like that drive up these prices. Components just are astronomically higher than they used to be. And so would it be useful, in my opinion, right now to start reloading? Well, that depends. Do you shoot a lot? Do you want control over what your ammo is capable of? things like that. Are you concerned about the cost? Things like that, because these, like if you get a press, and I think I got this on really steep discount for like $170, it takes a long time to recoup the cost of that. Heck, I got another press right here. You know, I've got another one over there under the counter with all my tools. I've got 3 presses. I've got lots of reloading stuff. You know, a $200 powder measure. Like, you really need to understand that the initial investment, if you want to really jump into it, can be high. You can control it, but it can be high. And so, back to, is that cost worth it if you want to control the quality and consistency of your ammo? I think it is, so that's why I reload. And so that is why I'm doing this series. I'm going to show you my processes. I get super consistent ammo, and I really like it. Like, so much so that as long as I've got IMR 4064, which is this powder right here, and I use all my tools because there are inconsistency between tools, I load up the 168 grain ELD match in bulk. This is a very small portion of what I got because it's very consistent and I can control that. Reloading, I say yes, go for it. If you're interested in reloading, come back. I'm going to do one about every other week, and I'll interject other videos in between, so it's just not reloading for the guys that don't care about reloading. But we're going to do every other week. I'm going to go through all the processes from choosing your brass, what type of presses there are, all the way to why do you choose certain types of powder, how do you measure, you know, what are these crazy looking gadgets for, you know, things like that, and what's this spindle thing? It's not a kid's toy, it's not a dreidel. So we're going to go over all that stuff. I'll teach you what I can, I'll show you how I do it, and we'll just call it good at that point. Also, last thing, I've never really asked, I think I've asked this one other time, if you're here and you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate that. I also appreciate comments, because that lets me know, hey, you're on point, or hey, you're stupid, or that point was stupid. Now, we've gotten into some disagreements, but we've been respectful in the comment section, and I appreciate that. I welcome comments, I enjoy them, and I will respond to them. It's not like I have 1 million subscribers, so you know, if you've got something else going on, hit me up in my About section. It's got my email in there. It's sortoftactical@gmail.com if you've got a question that you don't want to post out on the interwebs there. And that's where we're going to stop because I talk too much. Stay tactical.